If you wanted to create a mess that would impact nearly every family in the Denver metro area, we now know exactly how you would do it. You would flip a tanker truck in the middle of northbound I-25 and unleash a series of subsequent explosions and fires that would shut down that interstate for 6 hours and counting now. Tell me about the CDOT maintenance worker who happened to be one of the first on scene to help that truck driver out.
Yeah, pretty fortuitous that one of our two of our maintenance workers just happened to be out on patrol, came upon the crash almost immediately afterwards, and were able to render assistance to the driver, who was in a pretty bad state at that point. So we're grateful that they were there, and we always say our job is to save lives and make people's lives better, and I think that's a great example of it.
There are a number of eyewitnesses that I talked to who were in the buildings of the tech center here along I-25 between Bellevue and Orchard, who witnessed what happened this morning. And what they described, in their words, a heroic effort by this truck driver with the blown tire to gain control of his rig and to steer it into the Jersey barrier, into the median, into that wall, rather than careen into traffic, possibly roll, and otherwise create a hazard for people out here. That rig ground along the barrier for close to a quarter of a mile, spilling fuel in its wake all along through there as a testament to what that driver did to make sure that his truck was the only one involved in today's mess.
Danny Timms has got to be one of the most memorable people we have ever met on Next. Danny was homeless, and he was thrilled to get hired by the city of Denver to clean his park. Did you notice I said Danny was homeless? Our Steve Sager has the update.
What's up, man?
His friendly attitude is hard to miss, much like his story.
I was homeless a couple months ago.
Now Danny Timms has a 9 to 5, well, a 6 to 2:30.
We got to get the vet back in the vest.
Working for Denver Parks and Rec. And with the full-time gig, another life changer.
I go home every day to take a shower. My own place. My own place.
The man who used to sleep in the park where he did his work is now taking part in a favorite Denver pastime, griping about rent prices.
I've never in my life paid $750, but I do now.
He does now.
Bedroom?
Now he sleeps on a pillow and a mattress.
Months ago I slept on the sidewalk. Now every night I come home and I take a shower.
None of this would have been possible.
Mr. Scott Gilmore give me a job in history.
Without a little help.
Danny, I met him in the park.
Scott Gilmore saw potential in a person who wouldn't even get a glance from many others.
A lot of us that have jobs and have our lives and our families take what we have so much for granted.
By now, you know the story. Scott helped him score the job.
Every month I write down the paydays. This month we get 3.
He helped him get into this new apartment, even helped stock it with furniture and other odds and ends.
It's easy for me to just run out and get some boxers at Walmart. No problem. I was at Walmart anyway when he called me and he said, hey, I don't have any. So I was like, what size do you wear?
Scott says Danny's case is actually helping the city realize something. It takes more than a job and 4 walls to get someone off the streets. Danny's a long way from having all of his problems solved. But the view from here is pretty nice.
Looky there, and how can you ever be sad when you look at those beautiful mountains?
Now, since the start of Denver Day Works, 49 people have found permanent jobs with the city in Parks and Rec and Public Works. The city has paid out more than 50 grand in day wages to people who are involved in the program. It was interesting, and when I was talking to Scott Gilmore, he said one of the things he's found is that any program with the mission to end homelessness not going to work. You have to learn how to deal with it and how to get these people the resources they need to actually live.
Lesson learned the hard way by a former Denver mayor, now governor.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Today's attack in Manila, Philippines, struck a part of the city where Colorado's Republican Senator Cory Gardner had just been staying. President Trump suggested that it was a terrorist attack, but police in the Philippines say actually the explosions and gunshots appear to be part of a casino robbery. I spoke with Senator Gardner when he returned to the States this afternoon. He was in the Philippines meeting with President Rodrigo Duterte, an American ally with an abysmal human rights record. Duterte's brutal anti-drug campaign has killed drug addicts in the streets, but President Trump has praised Duterte's tactics in a leaked transcript of their first conversation.
Do you share the president's positive view of that campaign?
Well, we must follow the rule of law, and that's what I expressed. That's why I said to the president that we have to have rule of law, we have to have transparency, we have to have investigations of any type of extrajudicial killing. Well, excuse me, we have to have investigations of any killing to ensure that it's not a extrajudicial killing. And that's the kind of conversations I had throughout the government. We can't just rely on paper diplomacy, press release diplomacy. We have to make sure that when we see a problem, we are addressing these challenges. And I think it's a shame that some people wish to politicize and condemn without actually doing anything about it.
The joint fight against ISIS was discussed there in the Philippines, and Senator Gardner tells me that he got commitments from the president of the Philippines to cooperate in containing North Korea and opposing China's aggressive territorial moves in Southeast Asia. What I must ask, is the train to the plane working today? And I'm happy to tell you, yes. Friendly reminder, there ain't no party like an A-line party, because an A-line party don't stop, unless, of course, the train breaks. But I have promised the day that the train to the plane gets cleared from probation by federal regulators, I will be on board for next, wearing an I Heart the A-line shirt and a party hat. This is not a joke, folks. This is a promise.
71 years ago, an American soldier was wounded in World War II. Today, at age 93, he says he forgot about something the government forgot until just recently. Photojournalist Cory Gardner went out to Aurora and brings us this story.
My name is Dan Sayed. I'm 93 years old and I'm a World War II veteran. I was in the service about 2.5 years, and I was wounded in November of 1944. We were on a mission to capture a German town, and my buddy and I were on point, and we got caught in a mortar field. And my buddy was killed instantly, and I took a bunch of shrapnel. Then I was hit again by a German sniper in my leg, and was discharged in 1946. I was awarded the Purple Heart, but I never received the medal. I just got the paperwork, and then finally they notified me, about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, that I was going to be awarded the Purple Heart. After 71 years, you kind of forget about it, you know, which I really did. So I went down to the VA, was escorted to a large room, and then when they gave me the medal, I couldn't hold back the tears. I just couldn't handle it. I kind of cracked up. One of the gentlemen there, he said that somewhere between 500,000 and 700,000 medals were awarded, and yours will be the last one. So I was just terribly, terribly proud. I don't think I've been more proud than possibly any other time in my life.
Well, you deserve it, sir. Danny plans to move back to Chicago soon. That's where he's originally from. He wants to spend more time with his family.
Head 19 miles southwest of Sedalia and hit the trail for a 45-minute hike. You'll reach a spot listed on the National Register of Historic Places. And you'll probably meet a guy who some consider a historical landmark himself. Arnold Brennan and Ann Herbst got to meet him too.
Quite a workout.
This morning commute would be stress-free.
Yeah, to get my breath.
Were it not so strenuous.
You're 9,748 feet.
But for Billy Ellis.
My name is Billy Gene Ellis.
Stress clears.
And I work for the Forest Service.
When he reaches his office on top of Devil's Head. It's been 33 summers for this 85-year-old.
Yeah, that's Mount Pisgah.
5 months a year, he greets tens of thousands of visitors to the historic fire tower.
Yeah, and sign in before you leave if you don't mind.
Between all those visits is the real reason Billy's here.
This is a real clear day, yes.
Every 15 minutes, he scans the skies.
Is there any active fires right now?
Not that I know of, no.
Since 2004, Billy spotted 76 fires from a lookout.
The furthest one I've ever picked up was back this way, and it's about 50 miles out.
He's only missed a few.
And I'm devastated for days after that.
But Billy's usually in the best spot to see everything.
It was a dark cloud came from the northwest this way.
The Twister of 2015 made a lasting impression.
Got religion that day.
143 steps below the tower is the cabin Billy shares with Margaret. his wife of 56 years.
When I'm around, he can't hardly get a word in.
Talking helps pass the time. And so does Margaret's obsession.
I have a Chewbacca from 1977.
With Star Wars.
Well, Darth Vader's my favorite.
Billy's job down here is just to listen.
I don't even know what she's talking about.
He's never seen it. He's never seen it. He's never seen it.
Both share a love for the outdoors.
I would never go down if I didn't have to.
Neither is ready to give up this post in the Pike National Forest.
And I know the day will come, and it'll be really sad. But while we're here, going to totally enjoy it.
Billy will never tire of this commute because this will never really feel like work.
It's been a lot of fun.
For Next, I'm Noel Brennan.
Billy's wife's my favorite. Last year, more than 27,000 people visited the Devil's Head Fire Lookout. Billy Ellis gets hundreds of visitors every day. He's happy to share stories and history with everyone who stops by.